Hello friends, Teo here, and today we're playing Harvest Moon, The Lost Valley, and I'm going to be talking about Harvest Moon today. In particular, I want to talk about my personal Harvest Moon journey, and kind of what Harvest Moon means to me. And, Harvest Moon, the original game, came out for the Super NES in 1997 in the US, and I had seen some previews for it, and maybe some stuff after it came out. I don't think I got it. I don't think I got any games day one back then, but I saw it in Nintendo Power, and I wanted it so bad. I had to have that game, and I don't even remember how I acquired it, but I did end up acquiring the game. And I was hooked on that game. At the time, there were not that many simulation games. Like maybe on PC there were some more, but I didn't really play a ton on PC. I think really the earliest. Oh, we got Gilbert. He's at the Harvest God of Spring. Okay, I think the earliest like simulation game I can think of playing was Hacker on the Apple IIe. So okay, that is really old. It's like a 80s game, but I think more like when it comes to like console games and stuff, and even some main PC games at the time in the 90s, we had like SimCity and like Sim Ant. I don't even know if Sim Ant was out yet. We didn't even have Roller Coaster Tycoon yet. It was like SimCity. That was it. And like just the concept of a game where you just did farming, like for some reason, that just sounded so cool. I don't know why, but it just sounded so cool. And so I got my hands on the game and I played it over and over and over. And I swear I married Nina like 4 times in a row. I don't know. Because she was the easiest for me, because she was like, I was always going to buy seeds, and so she was like right there. So I just always married Nina. Like, but I always was trying to do it better and better, because the game was like 2.5 years long, and I was like, oh, maybe I can like get a kid before the game ends, because I wasn't that good at it. My resource management skills were not that great at the time. I mean, as far as like, this was really the only kind of game of its kind at the time, so I didn't really know the strategy to use or anything. And anyway, I played this game all the time, and I was just so obsessed with it. And I remember one time I was in winter in the game, and my mom came, we had to go somewhere, and she came in to tell me, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go let the air conditioning run in the car for a bit so it can cool down, and then we'll go. So because it's very hot outside in the middle of summer, and like we didn't have like a garage, so like we lived in a house, but it didn't have a garage. Well, it had a garage, but we didn't use it. Anyway, so she was gonna go cool down the car. That's my point. And I don't think the flower people are gonna be here today, so let's just let's plant some of our basil seeds. And I was just like, I actually said to her, like, don't you mean heat it up? It's cold outside. Because I was so engrossed in the game and so like immersed. This was a Super Nintendo game. Like, you don't get that immersed in a Super Nintendo game, I feel like. I guess because we're spoiled by more immersive like aesthetics and graphics and stuff. But like at the time, I was so immersed in the game that I thought it was cold outside because it was winter in the game. And I was like, I actually corrected my mother over the temperature outside because I was so engrossed in the game. Then this was like middle school time for me, and Harvest Moon 64 came out my last year of middle school, and my friends and I wanted the game, but it was expensive. We're in middle school, we don't have jobs, so two of my friends and I like split the cost of the game and bought it together. And every Monday when we got to school, we would pass it off to the next friend in line. And so the three of us all had a save file on the cartridge. And we would like just spend all week talking about our farms. And like we would call the other one, like whoever had the game for that week, we would like call them and like ask them how their farm was doing. And like it was kind of like a soft competition as well, because we wanted our farm to be the best, but we didn't actually load each other's save files. At least I never loaded my friend's save files, but it would on the save file list, it would tell you how far into the game you are, like what year and what day you were on. And for some reason we always wanted to be the furthest into the game, even though like that doesn't necessarily mean you were doing better or anything. But that's like a core memory I have of middle school, and two really good friends that I had, that I don't want to go into my personal life stuff that happens, but something happened in middle school, and I pretty much lost all of my friends, but those were one friend that stayed with me and one new friend that I was able to make after that. And they actually have been, I only recently lost contact with them, but I probably could still contact them. Like they're friends with me on Discord though, but we just kind of drifted apart very recently, and we actually used to even still see each other in person sometimes, like until like last year. So these are friends that stuck with me for a long time, and we really bonded over Harvest Moon 64, and so that's a very like precious memory to me. It's my times with Harvest Moon 64. And then with those same friends in high school, we used to play the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. I don't think Friends of Mineral Town was like a college thing for me, I think. But we would play the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. And we were always talking about those two. So like Harvest Moon like continued to be a thing that brought us together even in high school. And yeah, so Harvest Moon was a big deal for me, like growing up, and then it continued to be a big deal for me socially. In college, I got really into GameFAQs, like the website and the forums, and I wrote guides and stuff on there. But importantly, I made a lot of friends on there, and some, like a little group of GameFAQs friends made their own, I'm not going to say the name of the forum or call anyone out, but they kind of made their own like outside forum, like their own little website, and just a really small group of us like joined the site. And the site was revolved around Harvest Moon at first, and we like wrote Harvest Moon fanfics and talked and stuff. And I was one of the kind of latecomers to it before they really closed it off to everyone. I was one of the later ones to join, but I was still in that like original friend group, I guess. So that's that. It ended up being a big part of all of our lives for the next several years. Like, I mean, intense levels of social connection online on this forum, which was themed around Harvest Moon, and it eventually stopped being about Harvest Moon, even though the name and the icon like were Harvest Moon themed. Let me count my spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a blank. Okay, that's exactly where I want them to leave off. And then I got 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's add another row this way. But I was too busy digging dirt that I didn't like see if there's anyone up there during the day. And I didn't go to the Goddess Spring anyway. Oh, it is Sunday, so I don't think the sprites are going to be there on Sunday. But anyway, so this was a big deal. This website was to me, and probably my number one closest online friend that I have known since then. And college was a long time ago. That era was a long time ago. I still talk to today. And we met on that site. So Harvest Moon brought together some of my most passionate online interactions that I have ever had, and gave me like a really like core set of online friendships through my college years, and a lot of stuff happened with this group of people. It was just it's something so unique and so special to me, even though I have very mixed feelings about it now. But it's something. It was such an experience, and yeah. That site, and even when it stopped being about Harvest Moon, it was just about us and our lives and the things we were into. There was always Harvest Moon in the background. If a new Harvest Moon came out, we did talk about it, and like, you know, we still referenced the old like memes from the fanfics and stuff that we used to write and stuff like that. So like, and I think even in my signature on the site, there was always a picture of Griffin from Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, and stuff like that. Like, it just, there was always a hint of Harvest Moon in there, even when it wasn't really about Harvest Moon anymore. And it was Harvest Moon that brought us all together. And also, college, I went to school for Japanese language, and one of the first things I did was I bought a PlayStation 2, a Japanese version PlayStation 2, and it was pretty easy to get that cheap at the time, so I wasn't like being like extravagant. Like buying like import stuff was, especially it was a little older. Like the PlayStation 2 was still relevant, the PlayStation 3 hadn't come out yet, but you know, buying a PlayStation 2 was about the same as buying an English version one, and the games you could get for like $20. So like it wasn't crazy to buy a Japanese PS2 and import games. And I had only like 3 games on my PS2, and one of them I couldn't play at all because it was too complicated. One was Tokimeki Memorial Girl Side, and the other one was Ranch Story 3, which is known as Harvest Moon Save the Homeland in English. And that was a part of how I learned Japanese. It was like integral to my studies, was playing that game a lot and picking up words from it and stuff. I did learn more from Tokimeki Memorial, I will admit, but I played that game a lot, and it became one of my favorite Harvest Moon games as well. I still love Harvest Moon Save the Homeland, and that will transition into next episode, where I will talk about my modern experiences with Harvest Moon. And during all this time, I was playing every Harvest Moon game. Like, I like, I didn't really fall out of Harvest Moon until I couldn't afford it anymore during the 3DS era, and that didn't last too long. The late DS and the 3DS era, I didn't buy every Harvest Moon game and every Story of Seasons game, but all along, I'm just talking about, these are the ones that really stood out to me, these experiences with Harvest Moon. But I was playing them all. And I actually have some more. Yeah, there's some more college stories in there too. So I will get to that, and so I'll talk more about my experience with Harvest Moon in the next video, and then I'll kind of try to talk about what Harvest Moon means to me now and because of all of this. So that's my Harvest Moon journey up until college, and so part 2 coming up next. I will see you guys later. Have a good one, and bye bye.